Artest guarding Bryant. Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
Boom! What is going on, Insurance Syndicate? Happy winning on Wednesday. Hope y'all are all having an amazing start to your week. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to the show. We are here live Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central in Austin, Texas, every single Wednesday for your viewing pleasure and hopefully some education and some value as well. It's funny. One of my guys, Todd, was just showing me a memory. A year ago today was the first day that we actually shot content in the studio. So we have actually been in the studio here now for a year, which is crazy because we're coming up on year 3 of being in this location. So it took us a little bit to get it set up, but it has been a year since we have been shooting live here. And if you've been in the Insurance Syndicate since the beginning, you know we've been shooting this show now for 3 years, which is pretty crazy to see. And it's been a wild ride. So if you guys can, let me know in the comments. I do see I'm live here within the group. Let me know that you can hear and see me, and go ahead and start dropping those weekly wins in the comments. You know what we're all about here, winning on Wednesday. We want to be able to celebrate you. So let me know that you can hear and see me. And we've got an awesome show. You guys know before we get going, though, we'll always have to give a shout out to Viva Virtual Solutions. Thank you for being the main sponsor of the show. Shout out to Rob Lopez and Lily Davies, who is our behind-the-scenes producer of everything that we've got going on within the Insurance Syndicate. So shout out to Lily. We really appreciate you and everything that you do here for the Insurance Syndicate. And y'all know, again, well, before I bring on, I guess I'll bring up Tony, too. Obviously, you guys can see here, don't have my fearless co-host with me today. Mr. Merwin is in Houston for a NABIP conference, and I think it's NABIP, and there's a few other things that are going down there, but some heavy hitters are in town here in Texas, and so he took one of his newer agents, Sophie, down there, got a Porsche and everything last night, drove down to Houston in style, and so shout out to Tony, man. Hope you guys are going to have a great time there. I know there's a lot of, again, heavy hitters down there, so hopefully you get some good collaboration, some good networking going on. But again, y'all know what time it is, right? It's winning on Wednesday. You better start dropping them in the comments because we want to celebrate those weekly wins. Come on, yo. Drop them in the comments. Drop them in the comments. We want to be able to celebrate you. I don't care how big or how small. I've got a lot of weekly wins. Again, we've been in the studio now for a year. I just was looking at the YouTube. Sorry, Lily. Apparently, you already told me this, and I missed it. But we actually had the most views we've ever had on a long-form piece of content from a show that we did a couple of weeks ago with Chase McAllister. We hit 1.3 thousand views so far. I know it's not, if you've been doing YouTube or whatever, it's nothing like super crazy, but to have over an hour-long show that we have out there, to have over 1,000 views, that is definitely a milestone for us. And then another weekly win for me is I had softball last night. So you guys know I play a lot of softball, league ball. I sponsor a lot of tournament teams, but just playing league ball. So that kickback off was good to get out there and see the guys. And I worked out this morning. So it's been something I have been trying to do. Had my boy Alex Hankey come through this morning, was up about 5:30. We had a hard start at 6 a.m. and we were getting it after it. And ultimately, man, I mean, I've been trying to get back after it. And it's just been tough. I don't know what it is, y'all. It's like I worked out for 100 days in a row last year, and then I just like stopped. And I was super healthy, super focused on my diet. And ultimately, I think kind of you just need an accountability partner. So shout out to Alex Hankey. I appreciate you. Drop those weekly wins in the comments. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing them on my side. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the live show on my phone here to make sure I'm seeing these comments. Oh, yeah, because we already have a bunch of comments. All right, let me make sure and answer these. Let me go through before we bring our guest on and see what our weekly wins are. What do we got cooking here, y'all? What's up, Erica? Thanks for tuning in. What up, Hanky? I see you, brother. And I see we got a bunch of other people tuning in live. Drop some weekly wins in the comments for us. We want to be able to celebrate you. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest on. This is a gentleman you guys can see in the description, Ralph Perrone. He is somebody I literally just met this week and instantly love everything that he's doing. So we were talking yesterday, and this is how you know you got somebody like a stone cold killer in your corner. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing tomorrow? And he's like, I'll make it work, right? So he's here with us live at 9 a.m. Central, literally in less than 24-hour notice. But I'm super excited to have him on. So without further ado, y'all give him a nice warm welcome in the comments. Everybody welcome Mr. Ralph Perrone Jr. What's going on, brother? How are you, my man?
Thanks, man. I so appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys today. This is awesome. Thanks. When I had the opportunity last night, you said, can you do it? I said, I'll figure it out. Like you said, let's make it happen, buddy.
Love it, dude. Love it, man. Well, again, thank you for your time, dude. I'm excited to go through everything and hear more of your backstory. Obviously, I know that we talked on MiCard. You guys can see his background. We're going to get to that. It's freaking awesome. I'm using it. It's really cool. I've been getting a lot of people checking it out and getting their cards and everything. So we're going to take the back end of the show to show you guys that and just how MiCard can really help take your insurance game to the next level. And it's way more than just a card. I'll tell you that. But Ralph, real quick, man, why don't you give him a quick little 30,000-foot overview? Who is Ralph? Kind of what you're about, and then a weekly win for you.
That's a great thing. Personally, my background's in real estate. I've been doing that for about 26 years. I've been featured in TV shows like Fox News, MSNBC, HGTV. My business partner won the show The Apprentice. She was the third season. Her name was Kendra Todd. We've done a lot of cool stuff, man. We've done all these amazing things. But you know what's different about our industry than yours?
What you got?
Take one guess. It's the payment, man. It's how we get paid. We get paid. Well, when we go hunt, we find, we kill, we take back, and we got to start over. There's no residuals. That's what the insurance industry, residual income, right? Passive residuals, and as long as you maintain relationships, the problem is that, well, you sell a house and then 8 years later, maybe they call you. But most people really have a difficult time in maintaining those relationships. Mm-hmm. So for me, after the ride up to being, number 32 in the United States at a 1.6 million real estate agents, I retired about 41, and I had a car dealership, landscaping company, about 7-8 income streams. And at the same point, over 100 people working for me. I was like, what am I doing, right? All this stuff was kind of sucking the life out of me. So long story short, I decided to, put that chapter behind me and just burn it all down, if you want to say that, and start it over. Right. And when I did so, I took the opportunity to find a beautiful home. I flipped 166 houses, by the way. So I'm in the 166th house where I live. I bought it on the river. I gutted it 24 dumpsters later, gutted it down to the studs. I rebuilt the whole thing. I worked here every day for 14 months with 2-3 guys. During that time, I was unplugged. And that's when I came up with this idea. My life coach said, man, if you want to change your life, change other people's lives first. Right. So, in the real estate world, it's always me, 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 me. It's a very selfish place, I think. So, it was difficult to leave that mentality in transition. But by building this digital business card, the SaaS, if you will, and then when I took it to the App Store and then they're like, yo, give me 30% of all your money. I said, time out. I'm going to regroup. I went to my attorney and he said, man, you've been trying to help the people. And that's what your life coach was all about. Here's your chance. So we're taking that 30% that the app stores wanted. Mm-hmm. We're not going to give it to them. We're going to have you do the Netflix model. Just download the app from the App Store and replace your Popl, your LinkTree, your Dot, whatever you're using with our MiCard, which has all the same features and then extra. Okay. And we have mechanisms that kind of just get it for free. But the key thing is that 30%. We put that into a compensation plan that pays the people. So think about it. What is networking? What is network marketing? Hi, my name is, and you're exchanging communication all day long. Could you imagine if you're getting paid on the viral side of just talking to 10 people a day or 50 people.
Right. 100%. So I guess, well, question for you though, man. So, I mean, you're in SaaS now, right? We'll call it that. And I just learned what SaaS meant not even too long ago. I'm not going to lie. I felt like I was almost too embarrassed. I'm like, man, all these people talking about SaaS, dude. I have no idea what they're talking about. So I finally understand what you're talking about. But take us back. How do you go? So I think you're the owner of Lynk Home Renovations, if I'm not mistaken, owner of Perrone Realty, obviously, and then now MiCard. How does home renovation and real estate, retired at 41, get into SaaS? Like, take us back. And actually, let me, I stopped asking this question, but it was one of my favorite questions to ask our guest. What was your first job?
I've never really worked for anybody. I very rarely. My first career opportunity, I was 13 years old. It was 1992. Hurricane Andrew was just coming in, and I had just been making fly fishing lures, sitting there making them on a fly machine, selling them in consignment. So Hurricane Andrew hits, boom. I had a couple grand at 13 because I was doing this little consignment gig. I started doing hot water extraction. All these windows blew out. I was taking all the water out at 13. My dad at that point owned about 125 apartments and townhomes. So I started off going to those properties for dad. My grandfather would drive me. I would suck all the water and get it all out of the people's property because mold would start, right? You can't have mold and no power, or water and no power in Florida. Yep. Especially in Miami-Dade County and Hurricane Andrew. But the problem was the machine, if I was able to run it off the generator, it made a lot of noise. So people come outside, what is that? What's going on? What's going on? Well, I'm getting all the water out so we can stop damage. Well, then all of a sudden my dad was ripping me off, right? Dad's probably watching right now. He's paying me the lowest amount, right? Because I'm dad, right? It's technically right. His machine. I didn't even have an old enough. I'm just a laborer at this point. Mm-hmm. But as soon as the neighbor would come out and say, hey, what are you doing? My grandfather, who's the one who would drive me, and say, hey, we could do your property. And my grandfather, without my dad looking, he would say, we could do it for $100. And so me and my grandpa, we would just pocket the difference and, go on about it. So I did that. And then I started doing waste management at 16. I got my first truck and I started doing waste management. What I mean by that is all these apartment buildings that we had relationships with, I would just take all the stuff that didn't fit in the dumpster with my football buddies. We would just go pick it up on the weekends and charge the HOA $50. So between my carpet cleaning gig and my picking up trash gig, pulling a truck, and my trailer was like $400. It was a little little piece of wooden junk. But here I am making $500 to $1,000 a week in high school by playing varsity football, baseball, track, bowling, and golf in Miami-Dade County. I rated number 2 in Future Business Leader of America in 1995. And I also was one of the top kickers in the United States in 1995. And I had scholarships to like Nebraska and a couple other schools. But I'm a Miami Hurricane. So I said, bye, Nebraska. Can't do it. I actually did a walk-on at UCF. And then I realized that I'm actually not cut out for the NFL. I realized real fast that was not going to work out. And I decided to get really, really, really serious about academics. And I got a couple degrees from UCF.
What was the award that you won in 90? What'd you say? 97?
95, the Future Business Leader of America.
What's that? Can you go through some of that?
That's like basically being a nerd on a couple different things in high school. My mom thought it'd be really smart for me to learn typing at middle school, high school. So I'm learning how to type on a typewriter. I'm 46, by the way. I don't know if that came across, but I'm not afraid. I graduated high school in 1996. So my senior year, 95, 96, we went sports and we did some things, and I got to place nationally in a competition, which is things like negotiations, or basically even some stuff was how to use Word or typing. It was like just using documentation and then basically doing pitch decks and then actually communicating that out and negotiating. You kind of had to do this, and it's kind of like a debate program, for people in the business world, and just people identifying themselves early as being responsible and dependable people.
I like that, man. So it's so funny you bring that up. So I was born in 94. So I was 2. I was 1 when you got the award, I guess. But it's funny, man, how important typing is in business. Oh my gosh. I never thought I should put that into like my prerequisites of like when I'm interviewing somebody. And I'll tell you, man, I've had people come through over the years, and it's like, man, I wish I would have asked if they knew how to freaking type. Now, I will say though, you can learn how to type. I mean, there's still the programs. I don't know if you ever remember. I know it's probably later on because I was so much younger, but it was like we had this thing called Typer Shark. Anybody who ever's used Typer Shark, put it in the comments. But basically, you'd have these little sharks swimming across the screen, and you'd have to hit the letters in order to. And that's like how I started. Then I got into like, what was it? The pause program. I can't remember what that was. But I'll tell you, dude, typing was like, that's the game changer, man. I never thought I should ask, like, oh, crap, man, it's going to take you forever to do these quotes if you are just freaking chicken pecking away at the keyboard.
Absolutely. People laugh because I can get on a call and I just start, and you hear the keyboard going away. I'm not even looking. I've got to the point where, well, I've been there. I don't need to look at the keyboard in order to type out a paragraph. And people are like, where did you learn how to do that? You're a dude. And I'm like,
we've got a comment in here from Todd. FBLA, baby. I was in that too. So Todd's right there with you. And then yep, Brian Moore goes, the U, baby. So he's saying what's up too for the Hurricanes. Let's go. Well, dude, so you just rattled off ridiculous accolades, right? And you're probably too humble to pat yourself on the back, but I'm gonna pat you on the back. Where does that come from, bro? Where does that we'll call it that drive, that desire? I'm assuming it requires a lot of passion, right? To be in college, to be working like you were in high school, and then going in, and then you're playing 5 or 6 different freaking varsity sports, and you're doing this. And I mean, where does all that come from? Were you very blessed with a family that kind of hooked you up there? Was it personal, right? Something you self-developed, or what is that?
No, I don't think it's personal. I think I'm blessed. I'm very fortunate. I do know, my parents love me. They've always been there. I've always had a very good safety net. So for me, I've always told people, take the opportunity, take the risk. And I find that a lot of people don't have the mindset. And I think my parents gave me the mindset and the comfort to know that, and given the space to explore, to achieve. And I think that that's what a lot of people may have missed out on, from childhood. Maybe the parent wasn't a good role model. Maybe they didn't, build them up enough. And I'm not talking about participation trophies. No, that's crap. I'm not into that. Sorry if I offend anybody, but I am not.
No, not in this group. Not in this group. You don't.
Good, because I don't play that one. Yeah. To me, it's first or second. You're the first loser. So we got to figure out how to get better. Yep. So that's how I was raised. So for me, the whole thing was always like watching my dad. He would go to work all day. Mom would stay home. She took great care of us. And he worked his tail off, and then when he sold his company in 1985, I was probably like 7, 8 years old. He sold it for multiple millions of dollars, which 1985 interest rates were ridiculous. That's a fortune of cash. He was 28 years old. Then my mom, they were hanging out a lot. My mom's like, I married you because I loved you, but I don't like you anymore. And my dad's like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, you used to leave the house all day, give me some space, but now you're up a butt, and I need you to leave. And so at 28 years old with millions of dollars, he didn't have friends, right? Most of his friends were going to be much older, because people that were 27, 28, they were still trying to figure themselves out,
Right.
So he had a very good start. So I would say that my life was always accelerated. I had a briefcase when I went to kindergarten. I mean, I was a nerd like from the start. I watched my father with the briefcase go into meetings and open up his big, beautiful wood, awesome case. So I went and got myself a blue Smurf plastic thing that's how I wanted to go to kindergarten, Yeah. So for me, that's kind of where my life was definitely having a wonderful, my parents are still together. This not always been perfect. They've always, people have had ups and downs, but having a good foundation is very important. And that's what I try to tell people. It's a mindset, right? And people, sometimes you get off the path, but when you really want to be successful in life, what you got to do is come back to the basics and say, where am I going? What do I want to do? Right. Be honest and true to yourself, because the only person you're lying to is you. That's the bottom line. So if you want to be true to yourself, you got to say, well, where do I want to go? And I ask people all the time, if I asked you right now to come to Florida, are you going to walk? No. You going to get a golf cart, a bike? No, you're probably going to want to get the most efficient way. Could we agree? Mm-hmm. And on top of that, we don't have, back in the day, some of my boys that used to be in FBLA, they know about the Road McNally. We used to have this big old map that was like, that looked like it was a survey from the United States. You had to sit there and go from page to page. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, today we have a GPS, right? Yep. And you have this in your phone. Why are we going through life without a plan? Why are we going? Where are we going? Why are we doing this? And if you don't know, you need to pull back, ask yourself these good questions, and then regroup and then come back at it full effect. And that's where I tell people it's a mindset. And that's kind of where I was mentioned earlier, my life coach. When I went through this process and this experience, I went through real estate over the years and became, pretty successful in my own right. I actually adopted 6 kids. Oh,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't think you knew that one.
Did not.
Yep. So I have 6 adopted. I've got 2 children of my own. And I do have a bonus daughter from marriage. So I do have another. So I have 9 kids, 11 grandkids. And so my daughters are 18 and 14. So for the most part, that's another big section. And when that relationship was over, I went through like a little bit of a dark space, man. I was like, dude, I don't see my kids. I don't see them every day. I was breaking down, upset. I was basically crying, bro. Like I was like, I drop them off at school and then I'd come home and I'd just break down. Like I didn't know what to do because if your house isn't in order, it's really hard to build up. You know what I mean? So that's when I mentioned I found my life coach, and I went to this guy, Raul, because I wanted to be like Miami in the football world, right? And I'm kind of bringing it full circle, and it's a little bit deeper for this than maybe I thought I was going to get this morning. But when I did this, here we go, man. Here you go, pulling it out. So when I looked at what I was doing, I said, I don't want to go to like a rah coach, right? I don't want to be like, Ralph, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. I didn't want that. I wanted somebody who was going to challenge me, get up in my face, and beat the shit out of me. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that here, but
yes.
Yeah. Ultimately, in Miami, growing up in 90s in football, I would get my face mask racked. I'd get hit, thrown on the ground, kicked. I mean, my coaches, they didn't beat you, but they made sure that you knew that they were the boss. Even in high school, one of my high school coaches, Larry Ball from the 1972 Dolphins, that guy he was like 6'5", and he would just backslap us in the helmet, and I would just fly. You don't see that today. Those are men. Those are real men. And it's very hard to find real men today, okay? So I wanted to not have a cheerleader coach. I wanted to have a coach that was raw. And so Raul Velasquez has a program that's called the Next Level Edge that I went to. And man, we got a lot of unique experiences from blindfolding to XYZ, which I'm not really able to get into too much depth, but you can watch the little video clips and you'll see that we're getting in rings with fighters and we're being buried and we're running 4Ks and we're getting knives and it's like military training, man. This is no joke. And you're being held accountable to a whole nother level. And that's what you mentioned earlier about the accountability. That's what I think a lot of people miss about the gym, and you go through life and you I'll get there tomorrow. It's the lack of accountability. And then sometimes it's the discipline that's you're only cheating yourself, right? So when you said earlier, I'm getting back to the gym, I want to get back to myself. That's when you realize, man, what does this do for me? And I'm sure your endorphins, your oxytocins, all the things that are happening in your brain, serotonin, dopamine, you're better off all day long because you get in a flow state and your energy is like boom, boom, boom. You go walking around, people are like, what's going on with this guy today? Well, how is he so peppy? I worked out this morning. How does that give you energy? See, there's little tricks that people knew, like life hacks. And that's some of the stuff that we do.
I think, dude, that's freaking spot on. Wow, 9 kids. Did not know that. I'm actually a really big believer in adoption and want to at some point in time in my life as well. So that's awesome, man. I think it's funny. I would love to go through House of Dreams with you. It's this framework. I'm not going to sit here and go through it because a lot of the syndicate people have seen me go through it before. But a big piece is, and I literally say verbatim, like if I tell you to come to Syndicate HQ right now, are you just going to hop in your car and come here? It's like, no, dude, you're going to plug it into the GPS. Not to say that there may not be, reroutes. Maybe there's traffic, those obstacles and things that we go through in life. But as long as I know where I'm going, right, I can always get back to that path that you were referencing, right? I wanted to ask you this because you brought this up, and I think it's really important. You said it's the mindset behind, exploring these opportunities, right? From the little that I know about you and I'm learning about you now, it seems as though you've done quite a bit of exploring into opportunities, right? And have been at such a young age, and now to where you are now, too, also like 46 years old with 11 grandkids. I think you might be like the youngest granddad with the most or grandpa with the most grandkids. Have there ever, I want to ask you this, because a lot of the times, on the show, we talk a lot about our successes and again, the accolades, which we should. But I think, man, there's a lot of agents that are, again, going through the ringer, right? Or even just anybody that's watching this that has explored opportunity, didn't necessarily go the right way, man. And so now it almost hinders them in a way that they don't want to go explore that opportunity anymore, right? So my question to you is, have you ever explored an opportunity that didn't go the way that you wanted it to go?
Absolutely. I mean, I think
Like,
that
what's that first thing that pops in your head? Like, oh shit, I remember this thing, dude, and I never should have done it, dude, but I believed in it and I went for it.
you know what? 100%. My first SaaS was a bust, right? Put about 50 grand out. I spent about 6 months building this SaaS. And I built it. It was a one-trick pony. It was only for one company. And I took it to that one company. They loved it. They were feeding me, leading me on. I was building it for them. But as they were about to go public, they got real quiet and they'd stop talking to me. And I got a little upset. And so I went in a different direction. So anyways, that product went on the shelf and it sat there. And for a couple of years, I went back to the basics of my real estate game before coming back to SaaS during COVID. And COVID's really what pushed me back into the SaaS model, back from the brick and mortar that I've been used to for my 26-year real estate career. So when I did my first attempt of SaaS, it was a product that was in the real estate space for a specific company. And when they went public, things had changed in the atmosphere, so it kind of got shelved. So a couple years later, go by like 2, 3, then we have COVID, and I couldn't hand out my paper card to nobody, obviously. So I created the digital card. I started using Popl and Dot. I started playing with all these cool cards. Like they're all pretty much the same. They all do a function. And then I started saying to myself, I need something like for me, like a little bit more tailored to customizable, because a lot of them are like a white box and I put my name, my phone number, the basics,
right?
But it really doesn't get to create a personality like my website. Like my website's all about like it's whatever I want it to be. Like it's amazing. But my business card is usually a small representation, and if it's paper, it's so limited. And then I'm like, awesome, the digital one, I could text it, I could put different places.
Nobody keeps the paper ones anyways.
Right. I'm like, this is cool. So I went digital during COVID, and then through the process, I started asking these companies. I'm like, hey, knock knock, Mr. Lynk. Hey, Doc. Hi, Blink. And I'm talking to all the CEOs. I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? My industry needs this, and we could use that. And the videos, he's like, we don't have suggestion boxes here. And I'm like, well, I'm just trying to.
Right.
Okay. They said, look, if you want to give us $250,000 in like 6 to 12 months, I said, what are we talking about? I'm just trying to help you with your product. I'm telling you what we need in the real world. I know you've got something. You're not willing to at least listen? Not for $250,000. Okay, bye. So when I was explaining to them, I said, I'll just do it myself. And that's where I kind of built the MiCard. And that's why it says it's my card. Here's my card. It's yours. It's all about you. It's like LinkTree on steroids with a paycheck. I mean, it starts off free. Like I said earlier, we go like the Netflix model. You download it and do all your subscriptions if you want offline. And that's how we could generate that 20 to 40% commission, because we don't pay 30% to the Apple or Google. And that's kind of how we did that workaround. And that's why people are like, wow, this is not only the best looking business card, but you're telling me I can get paid? I'm like, yeah, why not? I'd rather decentralize it and pay the people than, these big conglomerates that already have everything in their pocket. So we've decentralized the TikTok shop. We've decentralized the business card world. And we've given people the opportunity also monetize the relationships, because just like in your industry, my industry of real estate, people come into me from a different community and they say, Ralph, thank you for helping me with this home. I need to paint it. I need to get a pool guy, a tree guy, a landscaper. I need to get a tile person. I need to, or they ask me for 10 different subs. Then a month goes by, they ask me for 2 or 3 more. This referral thing gets tiring. And all I'm doing, taking screenshots and sending people over. They trust me. I built a relationship with them. I sold them a home. I've been in their house. Either I listed their home and moved them, which means I was inside their existing home, or I've been a part of their family for a month or 2, right? Like very, very intimate when you're a real estate agent. So that all of a sudden they're definitely going to trust me, especially when they realize I've done this for X amount of years and I've done blah, blah, blah. They're going to trust me to get a home. They're going to say, well, who do you use to cut the grass, right? Well, how many times do you think I refer my guy that does yards?
Dude, you build a whole business off it.
I have.
Right.
I have actually 100%. I mean, the landscapers and pool guys, we refer them to every single person in Florida that we sell a home to. I've sold over 2,000 homes myself, not my company, myself. Woo. So how many people are you talking about that have been referred for insurance, for pool, for landscaping, for painting, whatever the case is. I mean, it could be electrical work, right? So what we did is we took BNI, Business Networking International. It's one of the most famous places that anybody can do lead generation. They have a great idea, raving fans, just love on each other, share, givers gain. I give first, not asking for anything back. I'm going to give. But let me ask you a question. How many people on this phone call are givers and haven't got anything back? Usually the givers keep giving and the takers keep taking.
Yeah.
So what I started to do a couple of years ago, I went and said to my network, if you're not willing to share leads back to me, then this isn't a mutual relationship.
Yes.
I got food that I need to eat too. I got bills to pay at home too. Like, this isn't just me send love that way. Where's the love back? Oh, well, I don't have anybody buying a house. No, we all do. Don't say that. We all do. It's just you choose not to listen for what you need to hear to send business my way. Or you send it someplace else. Either which way, I don't get it. So I started having a conversation with my pool guy. Look, I've sent you 36 files last year, which is probably enough to build a business and start paying, a new truck an employee or two. Can you do my pool for free? Let's start with that. Okay. So we started with bartering years ago. And then I brought it into the point now where I make an extra $50,000 a year just by just slinging stuff. Yep. And then I said to myself, well, what if I actually made this a real system? Like, before me just telling somebody, like my Lexus dealer, I said, I want $250. My Ford dealer, I want $250 every time a client comes into town, doesn't know where to go. And I send them to you, the salesperson, because I get to send them to the dealership. I'm going to send them to you, Bob. You. And if I'm going to send them to you, Bob, what's it worth to you? Oh, you don't, nothing? Okay, move. John, Paul, there's somebody here that wants my warm transfer.
Yeah.
So we built a system that literally you get a digital card, download it for free. You get to look sexy as heck. Then you get to basically load all of your personal information, your websites, your videos. The videos are what's the most fire. I mean, nobody.
Dude, it looks so clean.
Nobody wants to read your book. I mean, no offense to anybody, but it's not, we live in a society that it's scroll, it's 10, 15, 30 seconds. And if you don't capture somebody's interest in that first 5 seconds or less, they're gone.
Yep.
Gone.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I love that. I mean, referral relationship, everything, it should be reciprocal, right? If I'm scratching your back, you got to scratch mine. And again, I've been there, because I'm definitely a giver at heart, to where then it's like, damn, dude, it's almost to like my detriment. But it's like, but that's also my why, is like, when you give, you get. But then there's always that line you got to draw of like, yo, what? And again, man, it's crazy. You brought up where, like, okay, they're either just not listening to what I'm telling them, right? Or they're sending it somewhere else, or man, they may just not be bringing it up. A lot of you sitting here listening to this call, or if you're catching the replay later, it may be because you're just not telling them what's up, right? Maybe that's maybe even on just the insurance side of things. You could be cross-selling. You could be adding other lines of business into these houses. You could, again, be referring out to, like, so for me, I do it's called a roof marketing program is what I call it. And I have this geofarming, like, circle prospecting tool within my CRM where I can go and run reports. And I say reports, I can basically just pull data on neighborhoods. And it's all, I mean, it's public aggregated data, right? And then you scrub it, you can validate the phone numbers, whatever. But I can get literally names, phone numbers, how long they've been there, whether they actually own the house, this and this. And so I'm like, well, dude, this is crazy valuable information, but I'm not necessarily going to use it to pitch insurance right out the gate, right? So I'm like, how can I utilize this data? Well, dude, what do roofers do? They run them zip codes and they go door knock. And I'm thinking, well, shoot, what if I just run the zip codes for them and I give them the entire list to either put into their own CRM, or I'll run it myself on the email marketing side. We can do direct mail, all these things. Like, how much, and I ask them, it's like, how much more would you like to show up to an appointment versus having to knock on somebody's door? And who here has ever been knocked on, right, by a roofer? Not to say maybe you didn't need a new roof, but it was just the wrong time, right? It's like, dude, my kids are asleep. I just got them down, and now my Great Dane's barking. Dude, get off my freaking front porch, right? Imagine if we're already being, proactive and getting in front of them. Well, so then I do that. They get the deal. Well, here's the beautiful part for me as an insurance agent is, like any new roof that you do, please ask them, is it okay if I reach out to them? Because I can save them 20 to 30% when they have a new roof. Okay, great. So that's reciprocal. But then I'm like, let me go one step further. Where, and again, if you're in the property and casualty side, I'm giving you pure gold right now. And literally, how do I create repeat business for them now? You brought it up earlier, Ralph, on the real, man, maybe 8 years later, they call me. Well, how many roofers go out and door knock these people and depending on where you live, man, it might be every single year that you got somebody up there. And it's like, well, now because I'm the insurance agent, how do we educate? Whoa. Don't call 1-800 because as soon as you call that claims line, regardless if there's damage or not, you're going to have a claim open, right? Call us first because what do we always educate on? Hey, let's get somebody out there first to make sure that there's actually damage. You remember the guy that did your roof last year? I'm sending him back out your way. And then, dude, it's just this freaking cycle. And it really doesn't even cost you anything. And I love that you brought that up because, again, man, it's like sometimes, one, it's either the direction we need to be more direct with them and say, hey, dude, this is what you need to do when you get the new roof in order to get me the insurance and vice versa, right? But a lot of times, man, it's just like, don't be Elle and David Denning. I'll have to introduce you to them, Ralph. They run a very large Facebook group as well. And they talk, just don't be a secret agent. Like, let people know who you are and what you're about and what you do, right?
That's what you just said. That little thing you just said. What do you do for a living? Who you are and where to find you. That's what a business card said. But as you mentioned earlier, it goes in the trash or it sits on a desk if it's paper. But everybody's got a phone. You don't go in. See, here's my card. I just basically say scan it. Boom. You just scan my QR code. It's on my lock screen. It's fast. It's easy. It goes directly to all this stuff about me, my videos, my social media, whatever I want to sell, share, or position myself in the marketplace digitally. Mm-hmm. So like LinkTree, I get everything I want in one spot, but really good looking.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how you positioned, the dynamic between leveraging the roofer. You guys do leverage the real estate agent, the same dynamic. There's no different. Who's the point of sale? Who's the person who's going to sell them the house? Who's the person who they trust? Who's the person that they already know? So your real estate agent is your bread and butter. Now, what I suggest, I love BNI. Again, I built a digital BNI, a cloud-based version off of their model. I'm not dissing on BNI. It's just that they require you to pay a lot more money than we charge. You have to go physically. If you don't show up, I think 3 times, they kick you out.
Yep.
And I've been kicked out because I have so many kids and I got so many things I got to do. So when I got kicked out, I was like, bro, I've been here for 3 years. Like, why are you guys kicking me out of the group? Like, I'm sorry, my kid's been sick. I can't find anybody at 7 a.m. to take my place. It's not like they go to bed sick. Sometimes they wake up sick, right? So right. What I tell everybody, BNI has a great thing called the dance. And they ask everybody to go dancing with each other. And all intents and purposes it is you probably need to take baby steps before you hit the bedroom, right? And you don't just go there, right? You take the baby steps. So you do a dance. You get to know each other. You take a date, right? So what we do, or we've done, or we preach in my real estate office is we tell all my realtors to go out every day and find somebody in the community to spend 30 minutes with and then reciprocate back to the person's location. So I would say, Jennifer, the real estate agent, go to that person's office, get to know them in their environment. Ask them a series of 5 to 6 questions like, what brought you into this industry? What makes you different? Why should I send leads to you? What's your process? What are your hot buttons? What's your niche? Now, you go ask somebody those 5 questions at their office, real estate wise, because this is an insurance room. You guys go to the realtor and then say, hey, why don't you come back to my office next week and we'll do the same thing. Watch how much more your lead generation goes because you started a relationship, plus because you've talked to them, they know exactly what they need to be looking for you. And they know what you need and how to get it to you. But if, as you're a secret agent, then nobody knows what's going on. So right. You can do all the park benches in the world, but you can't replace personal relationships.
Absolutely. We've got tons of comments going. Brian saying, this is awesome. Bell's going off. Fire, baby. Love it. Well, let's go. Let's just get into MiCard, man. I want to make sure that we have plenty of time for you to kind of go through and show us everything, y'all. Again, it's called MiCard. I was introduced to this in the past couple of weeks. I already have MiCard set up. I would show you mine, but then he's got some other cards as well. And then I'll definitely, anybody that has questions or anything like that, definitely can't connect. But this is something I wanted to bring to the syndicate. Lily, if you could go ahead and drop that link. I've got a link for us, guys, where you can go in there and get your card. There is, again, if you're looking on the rev share side of things and you want to get commissions and really like maybe, and honestly, guys, if you have a large downline of agents, I love this because I didn't even know about the rev share model or anything on the back end. I was like, dude, this looks so clean and I don't want to have a dot card. I don't want a LinkTree. Everybody's got that. This looks so much cleaner and so much better. And so I wanted it just for everything that we're doing here at Clearview Insurance is really trying to unify, trying to have that singular message, that singular direction as an organization, even though we're comprised of a multitude of agencies, right? And I think it honestly can almost even start as simple as a business card, right? A digital card where there's links to Clearview or there's this. And it just, again, it just unifies us where we all have the same card where if we're out networking or if we're at conferences or events, and anybody that follows me, you guys know I'm freaking all over the place. I mean, hell, I was just in Arizona using this card and everybody freaking loved it. Like, and I literally, like, I separated myself from the crowd just because of a freaking digital business card that took 2 seconds. And Ralph, we'll talk about the NFC stuff and things like that. But really, y'all, again, Lily, go ahead and drop that link in the comments. Looks like it's on there, guys. You guys can sign up for free. Definitely encourage you to check out the Pro card, but at least just get your foot in the door. And then if you have questions, feel free to ask them on the show as me and Ralph kind of go through this. But we're going to show y'all just kind of some templates. It's funny, Ralph has some pretty big name freaking clients too. They're not necessarily in insurance, but it's funny. You said your life coach where you wanted somebody to punch you in the face. Yeah, one of your clients, Andy Elliott. That's why I went and trained with him back in 2023. I was like, dude, I just need somebody to like just punch me in the face. Hopefully, don't make me take my shirt off on stage. But if it happened, it happened. So without further ado, Ralph, I mean, it's all you. I got you. I'll go ahead. Do you want me to go ahead and bring it up on the screen? Here, what you got pulled up?
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, so we've got MiCard here, y'all. Everybody tune in. Again, if you have questions or anything like that, ask in the comments. I do have that pulled up on my phone. And then we do have a link where you can go and get your card in the comments from Lily. She dropped that in there, okay? So go ahead, Ralph. The floor is yours, my man.
Cool. So this is our main website. This is where you kind of can get more information about the different process and stuff. You got everything you need, but I'll jump backwards to a second. This is the life coach I was telling you about earlier that beats the heck out of me. Great guy. He's launching this right now. He's bringing this into his next level edge. He's got 400 plus companies that are all part of his organization. In the back end, it's like in his app. It's like he's using it like a Facebook. So when I log into my group, I see my little face. Well, when you click on it, they're going to pop up a whole card for people. And in the card, it's going to have everything like his 100-day challenge. So anytime you click on a button, it's just a shortcut like LinkTree. Very functional. Videos look amazing. And again,
the videos
it's whatever
are where it's at, dude. The videos are where it's at.
You get to sell yourself, right? It's not about me. It's about you. That's why when you're handing it to somebody, you're saying, hey, here's my card. It's literally just off the top of your tongue. So here you go. Boom, shop the edge. So he could put anything he wants in here. He could put direct locations. He could put spinoffs. Anything he wants to do, it's literally his system. Now, how does this all kind of come back? Bradley's one of our clients. We've got a couple good relationships out there. I'll share you real quick about the insurance gentleman. So this one of the clients here that we found we kind of started working with, he's got his videos going sideways instead. There's multiple ways that you could format your card. He's basically put in here his location, resources, get his book. So again, it's unlimited what you want to do to present yourself to the community. And as he continued through his card, he's got contact and CBS, all of his times on NBC, ABC. So he's got all this stuff, right? Well, he's like, Ralph, I love what you're doing, but how does it help me? Well, for him, he had 2,300 agents. We're saving him about $150,000 in paper cards. That's number one, okay? Number two, what he wanted to do was he said, look, how can we create, a duplication system? How can all the agents be, looking the same? Or how can we make sure that how can we become more efficient? How can we stop fumbling? Like, well, here's this website, go here, down 14 pages. How can you make my agents more effective in the real world? Because they go to teachers, they go to places and they set up shop. They're not always just sitting on the phone calling. How can we increase this? I said, well, the good thing is that this is a URL. So you can just simply copy this and take it anywhere. So I can cut it. I can come over here and I can put it on another page and hit paste and go. So it's not just an app, but the URL that allows it to be web-based, you can send it by text message or anything you want, okay? Now, going backwards to this, what we've done for him is we've created stuff that makes it every single time that anybody clicks on this video, it allows his agents to, not say as much, right? They can get out of their own way by playing a video for a minute and a half that sinks it in, right? This video may cost them $3,000 or $1,500, but it's quality, it's production, it's been fine-tuned, it was scripted professionally. That's what you need, not a guy that's, you got to worry about how to train them and get them all to talk like robots. Make their job easier by having a replicated system that allows them to duplicate themselves and be more efficient. So here they do teachers, right? This is one of their models. They specifically work. So they click on this. Now, if they hand this to a teacher or somebody in that profession, isn't this more efficient? And they have the ability to say, well, here's everything, or say, go to my website and then go to my services, go here, go click on this. And then it's too many steps. People today want what they want when they want it, and you're going to need to deliver it. So maybe they got appreciation in the news. So now all of a sudden they're bringing value back to their business. They're making it easy for their clients to interface with them. And at the same point, they look good. Here's Megan. She's another insurance agent. She's using it with home insurance, life insurance, car. She's got her video. These affiliate deals, when anybody clicks on this button, this is pretty cool. This is a giant URL. I understand it's big and ugly, but that's because we're tracking it and you get paid. So if you become a card person and anybody buys anything, we have 17,000 API calls with relationships from Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy, all these different third-party companies, which allow you to kind of break into this affiliate marketing space for an additional revenue. So no longer do you have to be like famous on TikTok, which I don't even have an account, but you don't even have to be famous on TikTok to have all these products that are only sold on TikTok. So back here, let's just say, because this looks like I hit the women's channel, which is probably not what I wanted to do. Okay, so you can technically take this item here. You can go to any of your social medias. This is just another little trick. It doesn't have to be just bought through the card. And you can say, this is my favorite, whatever you want, okay? Be fishing pole. Everybody here's got a personal life, okay? Nobody on this phone or this video call, nobody, in my opinion, is actually just a robot that doesn't have a life, that doesn't have friends, that doesn't have a family, okay? And if you're not using social media to your advantage, then you're crazy. You're crazy. That's your brand. You need to become a brand. We're all brands. We're walking brands. If you go look at where the market's going, the TikTok and social commerce wasn't even around 3-4 years ago. Okay. And honestly, if you would have called somebody a social influencer 4 or 5 years ago, it would have been an insult. Now everybody wants to be one because there's money behind it, right? They've learned how to monetize it. Well, I still don't have a TikTok shop and I still don't have a TikTok account. And if I did, I'm 46, so I'm probably not going to do very well. Maybe I would. I don't know. The issue is that I also couldn't take it to Facebook where my audience, or LinkedIn where my audience is. I got to stay in that little TikTok area. Well, with our system, you get access to 17,000 of them. So for example, let me find the back of my card. So in the back of the card, when you log in, it's the first thing you see is the QR code. Why do I do that for you? I give you the ability to log in. So when you do, you've got your card sitting right on your phone. This is how I just like to have it. So this is, I take a screenshot, I put it on my lock screen. This is where you make all of your adjustments. So you simply come back here, you can pick from 17,000 vendors, which ones you want to be displaying. So if it's Best Buy or Home Depot, this is where you get to put your videos in here. This is how easy it is. Like, it's so easy to put I'm going to put here, Joe is so I can come in here and just put a quick button, apply here, and I'm going to go ahead and drive everybody over to, let's just pick, let's pick something here. I'm going to put a weird link. I'm going to put this weird link over here. It's driving traffic. It's weird. I just want to put something in here and save changes. Watch how easy this is. No programming needed. Let's go see if it shows up on the front of my card. I'm going to hit preview just because I want to see if it worked. This has happened. You can do this for any of your socials or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down past my videos where I put it. I got a button. When I click on the button, it's going to go directly to some weird place I set it to go. It's wherever you want, like LinkTree. So how quick and easy, I'm going to go ahead and take it off my site. I don't really want the button on there. Obviously, it goes to a place. You come down here, you could temporarily turn it off, or I could permanently just remove it. And now I can go back and just double check. Now, the cool thing is, if you're in business and you change a phone number, change a partner, change a location, you can't go back to all the people's cards from 10 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago. However, you can, okay? Now, if I meet somebody and they scan this QR code that I keep showing on my phone, if they scan that, they'll get this, basically it'll pop up. And as soon as you put the information that's going to be a two-way opt-in. You guys are basically going to be getting all the client's information. It goes directly in the back of your card. And now you've got the ability to call them, email them, and reach back out to them. They can even put notes here. I just met them at the teacher's lounge, or I just met them at the mall. And now when you reach back out, you've got a little extra. Plus, we're working on capturing their actual photo that they have, which will be even more powerful. So right here, this will become the actual photo of them. So think about it. You're out and about. You're talking to somebody. You're like Liam or you're Megan, and you're out there chatting, and you're like, "Hey, how you doing? I do insurance. This is what I do. Blah blah. Okay, great." You have a great little 5-minute conversation. You may not make the sale right then. So what are you going to do? You're going to want to follow up and have a relationship conversation. They probably don't have a business card, but watch what happens. If I said, "Yeah, just go ahead and scan my card," they bust out their phone, they scan it, then it's going to pop up save contact on their phone. They're going to ask this, this is them. It's going to exchange. They're going to hit one button, auto-populate all the stuff, and then they're going to hit exchange. When they do, you just captured all the information. They got your digital representation of you, and you got from them all of their contact. They didn't need a paper card to give you. You didn't have to bust out a little sticky note. You literally just got everything digitally, and you just keep walking. And what they get, they now have access to whatever you want to have or give, and it can be all the services. And that's where you're starting to see the value of where you're able to use this card, start off for free at no cost, and then come back into the model. So that's kind of a little bit about it. I'm going to turn it over and let you ask a question or two, and then I'll go through the next step.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, guys, we were just talking about is like making sure people know everything that you're doing, or again, being aware of your referral relationships and who you're connected with. We're obviously in the insurance industry. We all know this is a relationship-based business. And so having a platform to spotlight, to highlight your referral relationships, right? Again, maybe you just suck at bringing it up. Well, guess what? Now it's all in one place. And guess what? A lot of people are freaking curious. You give them a business card. There's nothing to look at. There's nothing to scroll. What do we all love to do? What do we do every single day, y'all? We scroll. We sit here and scroll. And it's like, and now I can give them something where, dude, they can go get a snapshot of who Joe is. Right? They can go see like my most watched interviews. They can find the insurance syndicate. So if I'm at like an actual insurance event and I want them to join the group because I want them to become more involved, I want them to be a sponsor, whatever it is, I can say, yo, hey, go check it out right here, versus having to say, yeah, go to Facebook, hit search, and then look up the insurance syndicate. But then there's the Facebook page out there. So then sometimes they'll go follow the page and not actually join the group. I can send them directly to the group. And then they can ultimately, again, get to learn so much more about Joe than just, okay, he runs a Facebook group, or he's in business development with Clearview Insurance. I actually have, I'll go ahead and just let you kind of go through here. And guys, I'll share some screenshots of MiCard as well, just so you can kind of see how I've built it out, even again, just for consumer and client facing. Like they can go straight to my CRM and my smart forms, right? So then when they fill out that auto quote or that trucking quote or the business, they need some commercial insurance, it takes them straight to my smart form and my CRM. And then literally within 30 seconds, now that's back into my CRM. And that's the other cool thing, I think, Ralph, maybe if you want to touch on that, is just the ability. And I think what we were talking about on our call on Monday is like what you guys are working on to be able to ping the information out of the back office of the card into a marketing campaign. And we have a ton of people in here. We actually have quite a few preferred vendors and sponsors of ours have white labeled Go High Level build outs and all this stuff. So there's even some integration capabilities, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Ralph, that are coming out. So guys, it's awesome. Literally, I don't care if you're freaking 20 or 55. It's super easy to use. It's very customizable. And I love it. And again, it's like I signed up just because I wanted the card. And I was like, it's funny because a lot of people will ask me for my card. I'm like, dude, I haven't had a card and I can't tell you how long. And so I just signed. And then I'm like, oh, shit. And I can do this and make some money too. I mean, why not? Why are we? So again, my card, it's really cool, y'all. I definitely encourage you to check it out. Again, Lily posted that link. Lily, if you want to drop that just one more time in case it got lost in the comments, there is a link there that you guys can use to go get your card as well. Again, it's super clean, super easy to use. So I'll turn it back over to you. Ralph, what you got, man?
So, to your point, when people are out there and they're like, wow, I've never seen a business card this cool, this clean. At the bottom of every single card, there's a button that says get your free card. Okay. So it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a spa, boom. It doesn't matter if you're a dentist. Okay. Everybody needs one. Everybody needs to be able to put themselves digitally in one location, look great, and tell people what to do. So a dentist She put in apply for financing and reviews, cleaning appointments, aftercare instructions. She's picked Colgate, Philip, Bite, total different than a different profession, right? She's got orthopedic program. So many different ways. But if somebody says, man, I just met this guy, he's a car salesman. It's really a nice card. All Jordan has to say is get your free card. At the bottom of every single card, it's a tracking device. It knows that I'm not Jordan. So that's what the red thing popped up. So all of your information gets put in here. If I hit save, then I move on to getting my free card, but it goes back to the person who they clicked. So if anything happens later, if the guy buys anything from any of the stores, if any of these things happen, or if the guy upgrades the subscription, Jordan gets paid. So that's where all of a sudden, all you have to do is go tell people about yourself, who you are, what you do for a living, because, it's crazy, but there's a lot of people out there that have probably heard of this thing called LinkTree, right? So this is one of our people that we're working with. She has a LinkTree. You click on it. At the bottom of her LinkTree, and there's 50 million people using this. So how many people can we talk about over here? It says join in. Okay, this pays $0 to Livy Dunn. Well, I just showed you at the bottom of every single one of our cards, we do the same thing. But not only does our card look good, have the videos, but we're protecting you so that if they upgrade the subscription at any time, month, 6 months, a year later, you're going to get paid a portion, up to 40% of our revenue off of that. If they buy anything from any of the stores, Home Depots and Lowe's, these little trackers that I was showing you over here when I took it and put it on this URL, if I put this onto my Facebook and anybody clicks on this and buys not just these glasses, but anything at TJ Maxx, I get paid a commission. See, I don't have to be in TikTok anymore, in TikTok shop. I don't have to have 100,000 followers to get access to products. Right. I literally, in 30 minutes, I have access to the products. In 30 minutes, I have access to a digital card to make me look great. Plus, I can put all of my stuff, shortcuts about me, so it sells my company and my services. But then I can go in there and I can add in other links to support my business, customer reviews, or maybe people that I do send a lot of business to. I can bring all that into the mix. So from a long story short, you can kind of see there's a lot of moving parts. I kind of like to show this that, as you mentioned earlier, I do have a decent background in real estate. We built this card because, again, the problem was most paper cards go in the trash. We knew that was happening. So we copied LinkTree, Popl. We copied all these guys. We said, what are these guys doing good? We put that in a bucket. We built something. We saw the market was booming, especially after COVID.
Wow.
And once we knew that Airbnb,
54, was that 54 million plus? That's wild, dude. That's a lot of freaking people.
50 million people use LinkTree. 54 million people are using Popl, Link, Blank. There's 100 companies, but tell me which one of those companies pay you anything? Right. No, they all just basically take your money, or if you get a free card, it doesn't look very good. Our free card looks like a Ferrari. Yep. And if you want to get in the affiliate game, you just pay $10 and you get access to that. If you don't want it, that's fine. Just enjoy the free card. If you want to get a license to get money off of your entire network, I'll share all my money with you. You just have to get a license. And when you get a license, the government says I can pay you that vehicle. So we turned it into this rev share. The rev share license is a whopping $50. It's an annual fee. It's not.
You guys hear that? 40% commissions, pro cards $10, and then the rev share to join is $50. Let's go.
Right, we're not breaking any piggy bank. And the $50 is a straight up junk fee. I'm not going to lie here on the phone. It's straight up junk. The problem is the Federal Trade Commission and the Security Exchange Commission said, if I'm not going to pay 30% to Apple and Google, and I want to give it to you, the people, then I have to have a business relationship. And I have no offense, but none of you want to be my employee, and I don't want you to be my employee. So we're going to be independent contractors, and I just got to have a $50 license fee so I could legally pay you up to 40% off of your network. What does that mean? What does that actually mean? Okay. So I talked to a young lady the other day. She's got 100,000 followers on her social media. She said she can get 2% to go do this. I said, okay, well, 2% of 100 is, 2,000 people. She goes, yeah, so tell me what that means. And I said, well, we pay on a couple of different tiers, but tier 1 and tier 2, let's stay with that. Tier 1's about $10. Tier 2 is about $2. Tier 1, 2,000 people, right? 100,000 followers, 2,000 people, 2%. We're following the math. I owe her $20,000 a month in passive residual income because those 2,000 people that decided to leave LinkTree, leave Popl, leave whatever company they're with, and get a rev share Great. Now they can come over and save money. Now the coolest thing, we don't want this ever to end, right? It's called churn. Churn is when people come in and then you lose them. And we all have churn in our business.
Yep.
So what I've done on our Stripe account is I set up our Stripe that if somebody comes into our business model and they're out there talking about the card and they're doing a really good job explaining it, and people like, wow. See, as a real estate profession, we talk to 10 people a day, 300 a month at minimum. Otherwise, you're out of business. It's a numbers game, right? So if you're talking to 300 and they're like, wow, this is a cool card, and you click on this and this, and you're going to tell me that the person's not going to ask you how to get one? Come on. And when they do, they click down here. Once the people get a card and it's underneath you, it's 3 and free. You don't even have to pay anymore. That automatically happens on our Stripe system. So that's kind of the beauty behind our model is we're not set up to rip you off. We're here to bring value through the card. So once somebody gets the card, they start to use it. They get set it up. We've already seen what it is. It's for pretty much all industries. And it kind of puts a lot of things into one spot for you guys to look good. It becomes your personal promotion platform. And instead of like, here's my TikTok, here's my LinkedIn, here's my Facebook, here's my email, here's my fax, no, it's too much. And even if you have that information on a paper card, you don't have all your social media channels, you don't have your YouTubes, you don't have your videos. And remember, if you could go into the video world, you need to. That's what everybody's expecting. They're looking for video content. 100%. And we all are moving into personal brands. So even though you work for entity A or entity B, they're doing business with you. Like we talked about earlier, it's a relationship business. So if you're not building an audience and communicating, whether it may be, and it could be fishing. Maybe you get, if people love you because you love fishing and they relate to you, or hunting, then you go and find that subgroup of people that like you and bond with you in hunting or fishing. And then all of a sudden they'll buy insurance from you because they like you as a human being first. Right. That's the relationship business that he was talking about. So what we do is we have a financial break-even point. Nobody else has that. If you pay Lynk or Blink $30, just keep paying them money. They're never going to give it to you for free. We say thank you, free. We come loaded with thousands of retailers. You pick which ones you want. You get to get paid on it. It's all cookied, and you get residual passive income. You guys love that. And then you can monetize your network. Maybe you're sending a lot of referrals to realtors, and you tell the realtor, man, I want $100, or maybe it's to the whatever. You can now do that. My wife, she doesn't do it that way. She actually barters. She doesn't actually charge. That's fine. My wife actually saves all the money. She uses it this way. She does it with hair, massage. She owns a spray tan salon. So my wife is beautiful. She spends about $3,000 between hair, makeup, nails, all these things. But now all of a sudden she's able to monetize the card. She uses it, exchanges a value. And now when people say, hey, Yvonne, where do you get your hair done? Where do you get your nails done? Where do you get where do you get the massage, the IV? And now she's sending love to people throughout the community, and that love reciprocates. Her business goes up, their business goes up, and then she gets free dinner, or she gets free Botox and stuff like that. So it's been really interesting. So for the most part, I think you get the point by what the card does, how it functions, how we build it, how we could use it, why. I've had in the first month, it's a great time to pick up the phone and say, hey, everybody, how are you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. I got a new digital card. I'd like for you to go ahead and save my information and update your records and reciprocate. People, you need a reason sometimes to make the outbound. Because what are you going to call? Hey, you want insurance today, Ralph? I'm going to be like, why are you calling me? Right? You need a trick.
Get your foot in the door. Yep.
Use this as your trick to get in the door. Use this as your excuse to make an outbound call or a text message. The whole point is you could say, hey, Paul, I haven't talked to you in a year and a half. I just got a new phone number. Here's my new digital card. Save it. And oh, by the way, if you know anybody looking to get any insurance in the next couple of months, I'd love the referral. I'm looking for anybody here. Ask for it. Ask for the business, people.
Would you want to be listed on my card and I can be listed on your card and we can send business to each other, right? I view it too as also like, for my guys, getting them all signed up on the internal agency side of things is, dude, we work with businesses all freaking day, right? And if we're all business owners, so we all understand that, like, dude, like we are moving, right? The day goes fast. And it's like when you can very quickly, or even, again, they chose to do business with you. Again, what is something that separates you? What's one thing that separated me again at this INA conference last week in Arizona? It was just a digital business card. Hey, man, because you did business with us, dude, there's this new card that we're using. Hell, you can have it in your email signature. Need a new business card? click below, right? I mean, it's just some of the most simple stuff, but again, it separates you, right? And then, and I really like it because I think it just creates more conversation. Literally, it's crazy. You wouldn't think it, guys, but you just saw it. There's 54 plus million users using things like this. So there's obviously a market out there for it. And when I'm sitting out there talking to these guys in Arizona, they're like, man, it's really cool. Like, what is it? And it's like, and it's a conversation starter. And then what do you know? Then we start talking to, there was this company called LinkTree. And now I have a meeting with them on Friday to potentially get a new product for our commercial lines. And it's like Chat GPT for commercial classifications and SIC codes and blah, blah, blah. Ralph, you're like, what the hell are you talking about? But dude, it's sick. And how did it start? I know it seems so simple. From a freaking digital business card, man. I mean, he's like, man, this is cool. And I was like, yeah, dude, like it's this new thing I just, signed up for, and it looks really freaking cool. And, and this, and this. And then here we are, like getting, another value add to the agency. So,
think about it. What you just said is a valuable point. You need to be rememberable. Hello. If you're forgettable, like if you could walk in a room and you could leave and people don't pay attention to you, if you're one of those forgettable people, you really do truly need to think about this. Yep. Because you want to leave a lasting impression. When they remember you for who you are, what you do, that's when they're going to call you for your services.
Mm-hmm. Disrupt. Well, it's like a lot of it's pattern disruption, right? Like get them outside of their comfort zone, right? Just and I say comfort zone is in just make them do something a little bit different, so you aren't as mundane and as forgettable as everybody else that gives a business card or whatever. Dude, I love it, man. Well, guys, I know we're running a little bit long here, and Ralph, I want to respect your time as well, man. I know you got a bunch of calls and a bunch of people getting on the MiCard train, dude. I know I am. I freaking love it. Guys, again, Lily dropped a link. Lily, if you could drop that one more time for me, you can go get your card, and then you can also do the same once you actually register and get going as well. So, Ralph, I guess real quick, man, and in closing, how can people reach out? I know it's kind of like I almost don't want to ask. It's like, here, scan the QR code, right? Just get my card, and then they can reach out that way. But how can people find you? And then ultimately, I guess what's next on the horizon here in 2025 for MiCard?
Dude, that's some great stuff, man. Thank you for having me on the show today. I really appreciate the time. I'm glad I made the space and the schedule. It's been great. Our horizon's bright. We're headed out to Vegas here to launch with one of our new clients. They've been very excited. They're flying us out there. We're working with Charlie Kirk and the Turning Point USA group. We're working with several colleges and athletes. We just picked up a really Pylon 7-on-7, 30,000 athlete club. So it's been pretty interesting watching this personal promotion card grow, and how it kind of moves. We've had over 10,000 downloads last month in January. So it's going crazy. So nice. Remember, we're just now hitting the market quickly. So yeah, we'd love to see more people get involved, and any questions and stuff like that, you could definitely circle back with either one of us. Obviously, my name is Ralph Perrone, and you can find me pretty easy on any social media channel. Love to hook up with anybody if you need anything.
Absolutely, guys. And he is now here within the group. We're going to get him involved in the syndicate preferred vendor stuff, which we've got some really cool stuff working on that side of things as well, y'all. We've got a whole website getting built, and we're gonna do some cool shit here, kicking off into 2025 with the insurance syndicate. So without further ado, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, winning on Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central every single week. It's been an amazing show. I've been watching the comments. Everybody's like, dude, Ralph, thank you, sir, man. Appreciate it. Signing up now. I know we're going to see more of those. If you are catching the replay, don't hesitate to comment, or you can message myself directly, and you can also now find Ralph here within the insurance syndicate. So, y'all, it is the peak of the week. Stay strong. Let's keep finishing out. Okay, I know it's already freaking February of 2025, which is like January is already gone, but it is the peak of the week, y'all. So keep the pedal down to the floor, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.